Hello, how are you doing, guys? This is SKFC back here again, and I'm going to be trying out a different format for this video. So, we're going to be technically analyzing um, the semifinals second leg that just occurred yesterday between PSG and Dortmund, with Dortmund winning the game 1-0 and making their first UCL final in 11 years. So we're going to kind of just be saying one went right for Dortmund, one went wrong for PSG. Um, and, maybe what do I think PSG could have done differently to try to um, help themselves. So Dortmund's goal in this game was to really try to limit the PSG's ability to get the ball to central area. So they did this in a couple of ways. They usually, because PSG would usually build up in kind of a 3-2 shape, um, with both fullbacks kind of like on the outside holding up the byline over here, and just kind of having the wingers kind of be slightly more inside and slightly more inverted. And Dembele on the right and Mbappe on the left. Fabian Ruiz was often the one that would drop into the back three in the build-up, and then they would have Zaire Emery and Vitinha kind of in the middle here. And as I alluded to earlier, Dortmund, their goal was to kind of stop central progression of the ball, which would often kind of force PSG to have to recycle the ball kind of outside towards their fullbacks. And usually what would happen is when that would happen, one of the PSG, sorry, not the PSG, one of the Dortmund wingers would then decide to come and tail the fullback, obviously to close them down. And usually what they would do in a situation like this is kind of like really play the strong side. And when I say strong side, I mean the side where the ball is at. It would kind of all rotate like this, which would then force PSG to not have any options in terms of moving the ball forward more. So they would have to then kind of recycle the ball and try to go towards um, the other side. And then obviously Dortmund would just kind of work to where the ball is and play the opposite side of the pitch. And this is what was really stifling PSG. Because what the PSG wants to do is kind of play it to their central areas here with their midfielders. So then that way they have, by the time the fullbacks are as high up as they are, they would have kind of an advantage, at least to spread passes around in the attacking third. Um, but yeah, they weren't able to do that because Dortmund were really good at stuffing up the middle. It eventually just got to the point where PSG, I don't think they didn't really have a shot on target, or at least a good shot like that in the entire first half, just kind of due to Dortmund's strategy. Another issue that really compounded PSG's struggles was that none of their midfielders really looked to show for the ball, which just made Dortmund's strategy even easier to implement. Neither Zaire Emery nor Fabian Ruiz, I really would say, had any type of extreme influence in the game. I'll definitely say Vitinha was the one PSG midfielder you could kind of see was trying to make things happen. And you can kind of see that reflected in the fact that I think he had like over 20 more touches than either of the other main midfielders. He had a couple of shots. He was very unlucky to hit the crossbar. I thought he was probably the best player for PSG on the night. Mbappe was really disappointing. I expected I expected more from him, to be honest. I expect him to really try to show up today because obviously like in situations like these, like you're the best player, you're in a high pressure environment. You know, it's you're trying to get to a freaking Champions League final to win one for your main club, and he just I don't know, he just didn't really show up the way I would have wanted him to. He lost possession 8 times. He didn't win a single header. Um, he he wasn't that accurate with his passes today. Didn't complete a single cross. He For some reason he kept falling down every time he was looking to take a shot. So it seemed like the moment was just too big for him. Um, Dembele was also just kind of really not being a positive for PSG as well. He was kind of screwing up a lot of their attacks, losing the ball a lot, um, and just kind of being an overall negative for the PSG's attack. In terms of changes, I think um, what's his face, Luis Enrique could have made in order to win this game. I think one of the weird things that he did is that he would have Fabian Ruiz be the one to overlap, because usually he has Nuno Mensch overlap, but he would have Fabian Ruiz do it. And I can kind of understand that because he was probably scared of uh, the Jadon Sancho's performance in the last game, so he didn't want to leave Nuno Mensch exposed by having him come up. And you can kind of see that even in their average positions. So this is where Nuno Mensch is. So you can see um, his average position was still behind Fabian Ruiz, who would also float into that left hand side and would go up more than usual. And I think in a situation like this, what Luis Enrique should have done is, because, as I said earlier, Zaire was probably, to be honest, out of the three, the worst, least effective midfielder out of the three, if I were to be extremely, extremely harsh. So I think what he should have done is maybe subbed on Kengan Lee earlier. And I see the reason why I say Kengan Lee is because he is able to play central midfielder as well as winger, so that gives him a more of a wide threat for Mbappe to overlap with, as opposed to Fabian Ruiz, who, I mean, God bless his soul, but he's not a wide threat. He's not fast. He's not particularly quick. He's not an amazing ball carrier, so he should not be the one to be going out wide like this. That way you still get the security of not having to deal with the Jadon Sancho counterattack as devastatingly, because Nuno Mensch still isn't going to overcommit himself, but you actually have a wide threat. Another thing I think he should have done is, honestly, Gonzalo Ramos. He did not do anything today. I don't know why I don't know why he was here. I don't know why they paid the amount of money that they did for him, and Benfica should be in jail for fraud. He should have just had Mbappe start at striker, even though he hates it. He should have just told him, I don't care. And he should have had Barcola start on the left. I thought Barcola was pretty positive when he came on. Um, Another good dribbler. And honestly, it would have just given their front three significantly more fluidity. Another thing I think they probably could have done is just have one of Dembele or Mbappe drop into midfield to really help try to progress that ball from the central areas. Because even here, you can kind of see that their attacking momentum was a lot lower up until I would say the last fourth of the game. And what does that correlate with? That correlates with Asensio coming in, Barcola coming in, and Kenyon Lee coming in. And obviously, Dortmund legs would have been tired by that point as well. Obviously, also as well, you have to keep in mind the game state at that point. They're down 2 goals on aggregate. So at that point, all they really care about is trying to score. But I believe if they had started with a more dynamic attack and some more ball carriers in midfield, I believe they could have won this game. But they didn't. Dortmund did what they needed to do. They were defensively resolute, solid structure, and they were able to get their goal through the header. And congratulations to them. They've made their first UCL final in 11 years. So obviously today we're going to see who they're going to be playing, if they're going to be playing Bayern or Madrid. And if you made it through the video, thank you. I appreciate it. Let me know what you think of last night's game in the comment section below. If you liked the video, please give the video a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you and have a good day.